in my circle. I want them in my circle. I don't want them in my circle. I want them in my circle. Started from a bottom, mind switching side. Silence I go till the day I die. Started from a bottom, mind switching side. Silence I go till the day I die. Yeah. I don't want them in my circle. Started from a bottom, mind switching side. Silence I go till the day I die. Started from a bottom, mind switching side. Silence I go till the day I die. Yeah.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Let's Talk. I'm Tyrone.
Hi guys, I'm Kiora Silwane.
Thank you so much for all the support you've been giving us on social media. We really appreciate it. And welcome back to today's episode 3.
Are
you
three
ready?
in the back. I'm ready, guys. Thank you so much. Please keep on sharing, subscribing with everybody, with your family, with your friends, etc. And definitely keep up with our next few episodes.
Make sure you hit us up in the comments. Tell us what you want us to talk about. Do you have anything interesting, something great that's happening, or you as a student, you as a parent, you as a, I don't know, a learner, whatever you
Whoever,
are, whatever
yeah.
you're doing, watching us right now, an employee, unemployed, a graduate, not a graduate, you know what you want us to talk about. Let's talk. So, alert level 3.
You guys,
Utatawetu.
put us into alert level 3 just yesterday.
We're back.
We're back there. Guys, I don't know, but so many memories from last year just coming back.
Bruh.
Because level 3 now, he last spoke to us, I think, a good 2 weeks ago. And did he put us on level 2, I think?
Yes, we went to level 2.
So we're just leveling up.
Hey,
Literally,
level up
we're
the whole
going up.
time. It just, like you said, it brings back so many memories of
from
last
last
year.
year.
I remember March last year, the 20th something of March.
That day gives me shivers.
There we are as students, we're just packing our bags.
Packing, being told, no, you'll be back in 2 weeks.
Bruh,
2 weeks, fella.
we came back. Some
Some
came
people
back in
didn't even come back. Some people literally aren't back. No, literally.
Some people still haven't seen campus since they left.
Since then. So
In 2020.
it's really putting us back in a time of uncertainty, in a time of just so much confusion.
And now with this whole thing of people evacuating again, some people being told to evacuate in their residences or to stay in the residences, and the cases are rising.
The cases are rising, and I do understand campus, the perspective from campus where they want to now send people home because they cannot take
The risk.
The risk
Is really there. And we saw last year we had our first case in Korea.
Ooh, you were there, ne?
Hey.
You were with
I was more than there. I was part of the
Tyrone,
situation.
how many times did you go into quarantine? Like, how many times did you go into isolation?
I don't like your tone. Yeah, I don't want to answer such a personal question, but I've been in isolation 3 times because of
times.
close contact.
Oh.
I haven't tested positive.
Yes, but
I've only tested once out of the 3 times, and then my test result came back negative. But last year it was so hectic. We had entire Vakabiki situation where the whole of Korea
was locked down.
shut it down. I tell you,
Literally.
and it's so weird.
I can imagine.
You can't go anywhere. You're stuck to your room.
No one enters, no one exits.
You can't have takeaways.
I
You
can't
go to the bridge.
imagine.
It's so annoying because now everyone in that space is starting to get agitated, and now everyone's trying to fight the system
Yeah.
or fight HRA or fight the people that's keeping us in. And then we get the message: those who are in close contact, please pack your bag.
Film.
Yo, bro, I
Feeling.
packed my bag.
Oh, this was in Korea last
Yes,
year.
this was in Korea last year. So I packed my bag. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, where am I going?
Where am I
What's
going?
happening? Like what gaan aan type of thing.
Hey.
Hey, there's this thing, but dissension. I was in the dog.
So why couldn't they? I wonder why they couldn't isolate you guys in your residence because there weren't that many people like it at the time.
I think at the time the university was still trying to get used to
The whole
protocols
system,
that existed
yes.
because it was very new to them, and it was something that we kept on asking, what are you going to do when someone tests positive?
Positive.
What's going to happen? Like now we see now there's a whole process that runs. The ambulance
Yes.
comes and fetches
Yeah,
you.
guys, the whole process, your ambulance.
You pack your bag,
is
they
a massa.
decontaminate the
The
room.
room.
So last year at this time, everything was really handled by the Department of Health.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, a lot of the
Purely-
processes were
okay.
run by them.
That
So we packed our
side.
bags. We even had to leave through a different exit. No one could see who was leaving.
What
They didn't
a
want us to be
movie.
victimized. They didn't want us to be
Hey, oh, okay.
shamed. Yeah, there we go. All 8 or 7 of us
You guys all went into one ambulance.
into this one ambulance, being driven around the entirety of this yellow Bloemfontein, looking for the different places that we're going to get placed, right?
Yes.
And we're just there like, you joke. Intom, mntase, intom.
Because Tyron, the thing is, I know that now when they take you into isolation now, they literally bring an ambulance. They put one person in. They drive you to
One by
South
one.
Campus. Come back. Hey, so
And
how
you
did
take
you
the
guys?
next one.
But it was a new system in place,
Yeah,
I
so,
guess.
so last year we were the very first, like, we were the very first group of students, legit. Like, you know how in a series you have a pilot program?
Eh.
We were the pilot students.
Yeah,
Like,
but
what's
Tyron,
going
man,
to
you've seen it
happen?
all. Yeah.
Oh, bro, I've really been through it all. And then, like, we get placed at these different places. So that's Abuza was not like, is there going to be Wi Fi? Remember, we're campus students. We're very used to
Yeah.
access to Wi Fi.
Wi-Fi easily.
We're very
so.
used to, like, just walking anywhere that we want to go. And they even separated us. At the guest house that we were at, there was only 2 of us. And that's including myself. It was myself and the other gentleman.
Oh, okay.
We couldn't even see each other.
Each
Like, we weren't
other,
allowed to go and see each other. When they would bring us our food, they would leave the food outside and leave.
Oh,
And then
my
we would have to
goodness.
take our plates and leave them outside and close the door.
How was the food though? Also, and
It was so nice.
was it?
The
Yo,
food
guys,
was
free
really
food
good.
anytime.
It was really good. But the problem was the portion sizes for me.
Were they really small?
I like eating.
Yeah, foodie. So was it a thing? How did they bring you guys breakfast? At lunch, they bring you lunch.
And then they bring you
Oh,
dinner.
because I know, because South Campus they bring all your food at once.
No snacks.
Yeah.
No fruit. No young chips. Like, I was just there, like, guys, I just want a packet of Thai sweet chili lays.
That's you
That's
can't even
all I was
send
craving. You can't send anyone. It
the
was such a joke.
frustration.
It's monophone HFA, like, we need assistance. Like, what is happening? We don't have
Yeah,
Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi.
We don't have access to snacks. And I don't know where I am.
Yeah, I think Wi-Fi was the biggest one because obviously it was the academic year was still running. Obviously, school
Hey,
assignments.
the academic year was in full force. And then it was us 2 there, then another 2 somewhere else, another 2 somewhere else. Like, we're just all over Bloemfontein. It was just
Yo.
such a mess.
I can
And now I still have to continue with my
imagine.
SRC duties.
You guys were the trial group. Hey,
We were the test
the
rats,
testing.
test
Oh my
rabbits. I don't
goodness.
even know what you want to call it, but like we were there.
Yeah.
Then the second time I went into isolation was in like September or June.
September of that. Oh, because this first isolation was in June.
No. Yes, it was in June when we just came back.
Okay.
And then the second was like September, October. A friend of mine tested positive. And it was so funny how it happened. My friend was like, he doesn't want to go and test alone.
They
So he just shows up in my room.
dragging you along.
And I'm just there like, yeah, no, it's over.
over,
Like, it's
it's
definitely
time,
over.
yeah.
Manda, I'm going back to isolation.
Yo.
But that isolation was so much fun.
I
Because
can imagine.
I stayed in Bayers.
Oh yes.
So we were staying in the annex. And every time, hi. Just greeting
Oh yeah,
people from
they
the
came
window.
to the window. Hi.
Like, just greeting, like,
You
don't you want to
needed
buy
that.
me
You
something?
needed that
Yeah, it was so much
interaction.
better than the complete isolation.
Isolation, yeah.
But like COVID-19 has completely changed how we perceive residence,
campus life in general.
student life.
It's really different. You know, campus is literally a ghost town right now as we speak.
Now,
Tyrone, no, I'm sorry. Okay, maybe from when you came. 'cause
No, like, campus
it was
is so
really early.
full, bruh.
I can't. A Saturday is the worst time to be outside. It is so dry on campus, and I really miss that campus life, that interaction, walking to class.
I miss the.
Yo,
I just miss the vibe.
The vibes, the
I miss
campus.
residences having parties and dialogues.
Oh, it was.
I really, really miss like
Dear Gan,
stage door.
oh my
Even Dear
goodness.
Gans. I miss stage
Race
door.
culture in general.
I really complete like. I love how residences have moved to online platforms, Blackboard Collaborate,
Yes.
IG Live.
IG Live.
The beginning of this year, we saw a lot of residences pulling through with TikTok trends. It was very interesting. Even our own
yes.
SRC, they did a young TikTok trend thing. So it's great to see how we're
Evolving in that space.
getting into the space
Yes,
of.
yes.
But like, I miss interaction.
so much.
And even though we have it, like, dude, let me tell you, if you think it's a ghost town,
Do we
now,
have it, Tyrone? Do we
last
really?
year, when we came back, when it was just the medicine students,
Mm-hmm.
and then like the rest of us started falling in,
Yes.
they go in. The bridge was not even open. Curfew was 9 o'clock.
I remember. Imagine if 10 is too much for us right now.
Curfew was 9 o'clock.
How
8
was
o'clock, you had
9?
to be in your rest.
What second half at that point in time? What is second half?
Second half wasn't even open.
Open. Oh my
Like,
goodness.
Nothing was,
Guys,
like,
we
absolutely
really-
nothing was open.
We come from far, Tyrone.
No, listen, we
come from
really
far.
come from so far. And it's so weird to think how residences are now changing the whole time. People fight to come back.
That's also something I wanted to ask. How do you feel about people having to now fight to come back, ask for permits, like that whole process? Because I genuinely don't feel that people need to put up such a fight to come back to the residence room
It's-
that they pay for.
It's really difficult, nah. And I say it's really difficult because as a student, you need to be in a space where you're comfortable.
Academically, in so many ways.
You need access to Wi-Fi. You need access to your own space.
So, exactly.
And when you're at home, you don't have that.
You don't have
But on the other end of the spectrum, there are people who come from upper middle class, or who are just upper class completely. They're completely comfortable at home.
Yeah.
They don't have chores.
They don't have anything
They
to
really
do.
don't have anything to do but to do the academics. So it's very comfortable for them to be at home. So for that student to come back, I'm like,
Not really.
I really do. Over a student who's struggling
Who
at
literally
home,
has no Wi-Fi network.
20 in a house, 5 in a room, or they're just in a place that's very remote. They don't have access to anything. So those are the types of students who
Who
really
need to come back.
And it's been such a fight. I even know with the current SSC, with the previous SSC, it's really been such a fight to try and develop a proper criteria
Yes.
on what is a vulnerable student.
Because I know with many of my mentees, they talk to me sometimes about wanting to come back, having sent emails, they get rejected. And I know how their household situations. Being rejected, knowing that you don't have Wi-Fi, you don't have, any comfortability.
The system is very flawed.
It is.
This is because, I remember last year, I'm not sure if it's still the same now, probably it's changed. They used to check your academics, your access to Blackboard, how you're doing.
They did, yes.
So if all of that is doing well, they're like,
they didn't bring you back, yes.
there's
That
no
was the
need for
thing.
you to
Are they
come
still
back.
doing that? Probably not.
I don't know.
I think they're just at a point where whoever's back on campus is back, whoever's not is not.
But they really try to expand the process and not limit it to one specific person, like just ETR now. Faculties have people who are in charge. And,
yes.
But yeah, it's very difficult. I feel like the permit thing, people even make fake permits.
Yeah, people, that's the honest truth.
People even make... People bring a whole lot of fraud into this thing.
Yeah, because
And it's
people are
very dangerous.
desperate to come back.
It's
I
like
do
the
understand
desperation is there, and I really...
where they come from.
You do see where they come from, because it's not cool seeing that you're struggling and knowing that there's
being
actually
denied access to come
there's
back
nothing that
to
can-
a room that you're paying for.
a room that you own.
It's
in a sense.
tough. So people are really making those permits, and now honestly, do you honestly, if you're trying to get back on
Do
campus,
I really feel that
Just be
very
careful.
same way. Like just don't get caught.
don't get caught.
Not that we're advising people to make.
Not
please,
at all.
No. This
Please,
is not any advice.
Advise
Do
me.
not quote us.
But
yeah,
if that's what you're doing,
hey, do you like
Do
you're saying?
you?
I mean, if you look at how we left last year March, you'll be back in 2 weeks. People were left without their winter clothes. People left broke.
Guys,
Like so much was just left in res.
this was the literal message that we got for him. Kind of what did they say? We were told to. So, obviously with that 2-week evacuation, you're just going to take a small Nyana bag. I'm taking
Just
a bus
light
home.
things.
Hey, I like things. Jeans skipper. And it was March. It was still warm, Nyana. Was it not a movie? Was it not a film? Did we not? I think we went into lockdown level mang after that 2
Level
weeks.
5.
Guys, it was a maza.
Shut
Do you
down.
realize, Hiron, that you left some of your textbooks, Mona? It was a mess.
Yo, you're asking the wrong person. I'm the one who got all the texts from the resident students.
You mean, Tyrone? It was a maza.
Bro, I was
Like, now that we're actually sitting down and talking about it,
Oh, I was
Correct.
buggered. Like in my exam,
how did we save our semesters? Because
I don't think we can say how did we save our semesters. A lot of students didn't go.
didn't cope a lot.
It was so difficult. Students were trying to get academic advice. Students were wanting to deregister completely.
Completely, people could not get through
I think
anything.
I don't want to say Twitter deceives us. But like last year, we saw how a lot of students were saying, so many distinctions on Twitter.
Yeah. Online
We-
learning,
yes.
textbook is open.
Everyone's saying, with those manifesting candles,
Eh.
level 5 online exams, we don't really think of the larger portion of disadvantaged students who do not have that luxury of doing well with online learning. So it was so difficult.
Oh.
Me being at home, comfortable, being able to cope, right? And now have all these students that we're trying to help, and it's April. We're not going back. It's May.
We're not going back.
We're not going back. The government's like only medicine students, 50th medicine students.
Yes.
Then
The
June
phasing
came.
in process then came in, but that phase in process still didn't.
It didn't benefit
it didn't
a
benefit
larger
a lot
portion of the
students.
disadvantaged. Oh, bro, it was.
It was just a
hey,
mess, Tyrone. Online
as you
learning.
would say, I was dead.
I was dead.
I was
You're
so
dead.
dead. And I'm just there struggling. Like, you're sending email
Emails.
of email.
Tyrone, and it's so many things that come into play. It's your mental health. Being at home, you're not used to that space. Studying in
not-
that space.
Dude,
Parents
you're
don't
not used to so
understand.
much.
It was just a lot last year.
Parents.
Hey, why are
Just
you
then
still in your
knocking.
gown? Hey,
Why are you
why are you
still?
knocking? Why are you still in
And
bed?
it was some parents had a lot of duties, a lot of chores for their children
For
to
their
get
children
up
to do.
to.
Because, yeah, you're home. However, what are you doing?
When you're home, you do this.
Hey, yeah,
or-
you can make time for your books later on. This is
Oh,
home.
it was
So it was
so
just it was a lot. But online
How
learning.
did you get back to campus?
Okay, so last
you make
year.
a fake permit?
It's our own race. Last year. Hey, last year was
Are
actually
you
a
sure?
feeling.
Because don't you do humanities?
Tyrone raced.
Humanities students didn't.
Tyrone, not you trying to
Okay.
expose me. So, okay, the first time I got back onto campus was last year. Government said, October. I came to see my man at the time. Mama. Yeah, Tyrone, it was a month. Okay, Tyrone.
Not you making a permit to see a gent.
No, so what had happened was, I didn't know we had those
In Tota.
week. Tyrone, was it those week permits or a day where you can come pack your things?
Yes, to collect your
those ones.
things.
So no, what happened was we were staying somewhere, like it was off campus, but
I'm not reacting. Wait, let me calm down.
yes. So things didn't work out. Things ended right there in the when we got to
Sure.
the place that we went to.
Watch and sit for a week.
So then after things didn't work out, I had to go crash at my friend's place off campus, go campus key for a few days. Then I think my permit was only active, I think 3 days later. That's when I got back onto campus. Last year was actually a bit of a maza, hey?
What are you talking about, bro? Like, you came back for a man.
I came
Never
back
mind
for
academics.
a man. Yes. No, it was, I think, it was holiday month, I don't remember. Came for a man. What had happened was that we were dating during lockdown. So we didn't get time to see each other.
Must
Guys.
go to, okay, guys. Thank you so much for joining us today.
It's this topic.
I think you need to go and have a counseling session. You are lockdown dating.
Yeah, lockdown dating. So he stays on campus as well. I stay on
Oh,
campus.
a campus dent. You know what they said in that Harmony video?
Never again. Never again.
What res?
What race?
No, let's leave it.
It's
Let's not
fine.
expose
Yeah, let's
you.
not
No,
go there.
no. Yeah.
So Shapo, then we went to that place. 2 days later, we just broke it off because of just so many things that were found out and so many things that we got into. Then I went to crash at my
Guys,
friend's
we want to
place.
know what was found out.
Guys, not for today. This story is actually going to launch on my YouTube channel.
So make sure you subscribe to
Yes,
her
please
YouTube
subscribe
channel.
to my YouTube channel. The link will be in the description below. So yeah, that happened, and then it was time to come to campus to come get the rest of my things. You know that whole process, rest of my things, and then that was when I got to campus. It was a ghost town. It was different. The bridge wasn't open.
But no daily chips.
Oh, Tyrone, it was a mess. Wabana at that time. So yeah, that was campus, and then online learning. I think I want to get a bit into online learning. So you know, with online, people usually say that Kara Ubuti takes poo. You guys can sit really. Online learning has been a lot.
Tough.
It's tough.
Okay, but I also, from my perspective, it wasn't tough.
It wasn't last year.
No, it really wasn't for me personally. Because you just had to know where everything was. And with law, it was a lot of application.
Theory application.
Yeah, for the modules that I had last year and this year so far, it's been a lot of application. It wasn't really quoting the textbook or define this.
I think that's where I struggled.
So it was a lot of
Application.
really just given a scenario, apply the law. How would it work out type of thing.
Okay,
So
type
I
of thing.
think I found that easy.
Okay.
You just had to know what you were doing and you just had to have studied.
Then you're
Not
good.
that I studied. Trust me, I really don't study.
I don't know what studying is anymore. What from last year?
Tell
Well, we
you-
studied for EXR and fairly human.
I really
Right?
just studied to
Good
write,
thing.
guys. I don't know what,
Yeah.
I really don't know how to
And
study.
I think also this thing I thought we're teaching ourselves now. You know, there's a lot of classes where they aren't like you don't have lecture classes. It's literally just here are your practicums or your slides, whatever. You working
and you work
on
to
that
achieve
place.
that.
And
It's-
it's difficult because now you're working on is it at your own pace or on your
you're working at your,
at your own pace.
But you don't.
How do you catch up then?
You can't really work at your own pace at the same time. I get what you're saying because you have deadlines.
Deadlines.
So then now in 2 weeks you're writing.
It's a lot.
And especially when like you're a law student or a BSc student. I'm not sure with humanities students. But you guys also have really hectic submissions.
Yeah.
In general, humanities.
Oof,
No,
the
you guys are always
essays,
writing essays.
literally assignments.
5,000 words, conceptual orientations. And understand into
It's quite a lot.
it's just a lot. So with law students, it was just always submission.
submission.
And then BSc and other students who were back on campus, they were writing. They were in EXR, they were in Kali.
Like,
it was a
you know,
mess.
sometimes I sit back and think, would I ever be able to do Kelly Human again? With the way Muthu has become so comfortable,
Can I
literally
just tell
no
you, a part of me misses it.
really
I really miss the stress of and writing.
studying, knowing that in the morning, utsukeka for revise. You miss
Bruh,
it.
like I don't know. I really miss it. I feel like online learning is so boring. Can I please tell you, I'm such.
Ish.
I think like in general, you can see I'm such a character. Like I'm very
You're out like you want
outgoing
more.
and I like being with people.
Yeah,
I
no,
used to get
ish.
into so much trouble because I'd be there with the people. Oh, you don't I'd be that person who was commenting or
Leave.
laughing over a
while
question
doing
in the
those things.
paper.
Yeah, just the
So
character.
I really just miss being in an environment where you laugh. I remember the one time in Cali, we were writing first teacher. And most you have to sit for a certain amount of time before you can leave.
Hey.
This student got there. We were writing in Cali. This student got there, ne? And then he sat down,
Hey.
and then for 10 minutes
He got up.
he got up.
I
Then
don't.
he left, and he was walking up with so much confidence, ne? And that invigilator chased him.
Yeah.
The invigilator chased him, and I burst into laughter. But it was legit so funny for me to see that happening because I was just there like,
Johnny.
and then we had to study.
How
Are you leaving
you
after 10
know
minutes?
you're a
And I'm
student.
thinking, I'm so worried for him.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, Johnny.
Johnny.
Yeah, and I was laughing, bro. So I miss those types of things. Or like when you're in EXR or Kali, and then all of a sudden, the people there, the invigilators, I don't know, bro.
It was just our invigilators were so old. Like they were so old.
And
Those
then there was
grannies.
that young guy who was just so active and so
I don't know
energetic.
him.
Oh gosh, I don't know. I just really miss
What a
that
time!
environment.
What a time!
And it's so completely different. The first years don't know that.
Yo,
Res life has changed.
drastically.
Everything is just so different
Like,
because of
First, just don't
COVID.
know roommate fever. Like right now, everybody's staying kitty 1-1 mostly in the
Really?
rooms. Yeah, everybody. My roommate's also not back because like a lot of people have not received permits. That's the thing. Everybody's just 1-1. Roommate first, just don't know roommate fever, roommate fights, roommate. Any roommate drama. First, just don't know so much. Like race culture. Yeah, there are things happening now and
I
then.
think internally a lot
But-
of things are happening. A lot of things are not being shared.
Yeah.
Like you can't see, but a lot of things are happening internally, and
Yeah.
it's great that those things are happening. But like, hey,
Ooh, race
Vakabiki
culture.
got shut down. I think I'm always just gonna like
Oh,
Vakabiki
guys,
got shut
Vakabiki,
down.
and it was so weird how I found out. So the lady that does my hair stays at Vakabiki. So I'm like, oh yeah, I've got the hairpiece here. She's like, no, I won't be able to come. I'm like, how? What? Why not? She's like, it's not by choice. Your feeling. She's like, we're locked up the whole race. I couldn't understand. Why? How?
Yeah, bro, there was just like such a surge in cases.
Yo.
I can understand though. The university is terrified because like, who do you blame when a student passes away because of COVID-related complications, and they were
Who?
here?
That's true. So it's really complicated. Imagine not being able to order food, being able to get your food from
Being able to just walk out in the sun
They
and enjoy.
literally closed. They put it on lockdown for good 2 weeks.
It was 10 days.
10 days.
It wasn't, I think it was
Hey,
10 days. But,
Makataro, 2 weeks. 10 days is 2 weeks. It's so long.
but it's so tough, especially when you think of, in general, like I know at UP, it was very similar. One person per
One person
room.
per room.
And the only thing that really changed was as the curfew times changed nationally,
Mm-hmm.
their curfew times would change as well. So, excuse me, I feel like all the universities really just took residents' life.
And just took it. Yeah, literally.
Like, I don't know.
So it's really been a time, and we really don't know when things will ever get back to.
What is normal?
What is normal now?
Like, what is normal, especially in terms of res life? What's normal in terms of campus life, student
What's
life?
normal in terms of?
There's nothing really normal about the situations that we're living in, especially with COVID-19. Because if you think
Yeah.
about it, I'm sure people 2 years from now are still gonna want to be walking around with their mask.
2 years from now, we're still gonna have virtual graduations, which is one of my biggest
So
fears.
Nyebelela,
Tyrone,
I do not want a
Tyrone.
virtual graduation.
I've been praying for. Oh, Tyrone, do you know that? The last 2 groups, the last 2 years. Imagine that virtual graduation. I really imagine just seeing your
and
name
UFS.
pass by. And
The
one thing
UFS
about
one
UFS,
is so ghetto.
they will play the that ghetto song, and your name will literally pass in 3 seconds.
Other institutions, as much as it's online, it's so nice.
It is. They
It's just
make
your
it.
name.
You
Your
know,
name. Your name.
the
UFS,
first-
it's a roll of credits.
Roll of credits. Like one thing about UFS is that they're just not going to change the system. And I think the first time I could accept how they did things because it was the first time that they did it. The second group that recently graduated,
Oh,
I don't
bro, I
understand
was
why.
so touched. They could have done
Dude,
so much.
better. Like so much
I don't even
better.
understand where they
Tyrone.
think these things from. And
It stresses me
it really
out.
makes me think, us as a youth,
Guys,
where, like, how much say do we have in our institutions? Yes, we have an SRC. Yes, we have residency leaders. But as young people,
how much say do we have? And do we even know the correct channels
to use,
to use?
how much say do we have in general in our government? Like, we're legit seeing, like, always people are complaining on Twitter. People are always complaining on social media about how the government is corrupt. And I'm always thinking, we're the next government.
The next government. What are we doing?
What are we doing as
What
a
are we
youth?
saying?
Like, what is the first thing that comes to mind when you think of Youth Day?
Yo, Youth Day. Youth Day for me is Black Consciousness Movement. Like I'm thinking of now back in the day. For me, that's what Youth Day is about. The BCM, Pantu education. Like, okay, now I'm thinking really back. But that's the first thing I think about the youth, because that is what liberated, like,
That's what brought about
brought,
liberation.
yes, that's what liberated us as the youth. So that's,
June
you know,
16 is such an important day in our history.
that we don't even consider, that we don't even, today people are just going out partying really. You know, June 16 used to be that day where people wear the uniform. It's abo, nah.
But I mean, what are we doing
Bro, not as we speak.
as youth? I mean, we had the whole Feast Must Fall movement, right? That youth movement, that generation,
That
they really
that
paved the
revolutionized
way how
everything.
university structures work when it comes to striking, and how much freedom we have with our voice as young people.
Yeah.
We saw with Uyinene, the
Yeah.
movement that came
That came with
young
that.
people about GBV.
Yeah.
And it brought about a change. The government
Revolution.
really did try to change the laws that exist. I know the missing person thing went from 48 hours to 24 hours. But there's so much more that we can do as a youth.
Yes.
But we're just so held back.
So held back. We've got so much power. We do have the power.
We
to-
have the power.
We do. It just now takes us back to what is the youth doing? Why are we not taking that stand? You know,
I mean,
it's crazy. And kind of when you were in your first year when the
Fees Must Fall
Fees
had
Must
just
Fall.
ended.
Oh,
was
it had
phasing
just
out.
ended.
Yeah, it was phasing out.
it was a time, ne? to be-
It really was a time. Even now, today, I mean, a lot of young people use social media platforms to create awareness,
Yes.
to advocate,
Yes.
to just be the difference in a community. I feel like sometimes we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to be that social media activist,
Activist,
to
yeah.
be that leader at the forefront of a strike. We're not all going to be those people, but we
of
can be
course.
game changers.
Yes.
As young people, we do have the resilience and the ambition and the potential
Yes.
to do a lot. Like you said, the first thing that comes to mind is the Black Conscious Movement. Everything that happened in order for us to be where we are
today. Yeah.
But 100 years from now, 20 years from now, 5 years from now, what will the youth of then be speaking about us?
About,
Because we
yeah.
speak about the Fees Must Fall people. We speak
right
about
now.
the Soweto uprising.
Yes.
What can we connect to us? I mean, we have Uyinene. I think that's one of the biggest things. Like, we legit saw very much close to Fees Must Fall shutdown of campuses nationwide
Literally. So close.
because of the safety of the female body.
And you know, with going back to social media, social media is such a powerful tool.
It
you know,
really
these days,
is.
with especially with these topics. And I remember when a few weeks back when a UFS student was missing, you know, she was literally traced in just a few hours.
Yes.
Oh, this is what had happened, this is where she was, etc., etc., etc. And that's just the powerful tool of social media. We can, you know, I think with using social media, it can really get us to
It can really advance
Higher
where
grounds.
we are as a youth.
Where
Because
we
I mean,
are
we're
as
in
a
the
youth.
fourth industrial revolution. So much is happening around us as young people. We are like, it feels so cliche and it feels so. Oh my gosh, really? We are tomorrow. Like, we're going to
where the
graduate.
few. I don't think we
We're going
understand.
to become members of parliament. We're going to
Parliament.
become principals.
And-
Another big thing
Yes.
that just came to mind. I don't remember her name.
Yes.
But the girl from Pretoria who fought for natural hair.
Hair. I don't remember her
Yes.
name either. A few years back,
It was a few years back. I think I was also
Yes.
still in high school. I might have just gotten into university.
Yes.
But look at that. A young person
What
saw
a
something.
powerful
She saw
movement.
injustices and she's like, you know what?
I'm standing up.
I'm
for
standing
this.
up for it because
No one else is doing it.
so let me do it.
I'm gonna do it.
And
And wait till Tyrone, funny enough, from that point or from around that time, people really started embracing their natural The natural hair. I'm realizing it now. The afros. I mean, especially your afros, not the relaxed, but the afros. Getting it.
The coils.
The coils,
The
yeah.
understanding of natural hair. Even a lot of YouTubers started coming out a lot
That
more
is
natural
so
hair
true.
content. What to use, what
So
not
that
to use.
movement
the
was,
type 4, type like type
Pussy.
Cs. I didn't even
Yeah,
realize all of that
it's you knowing
existed.
that times for me.
Because I have friends and like my friends will always phone me video call me like, look at my coils. There's so much more definition. I'm just like,
Yeah. Okay.
I'm nodding because I'm like, I don't know what to say. You're showing me your hair or you're showing me your skincare
I'm
routine.
dead.
So like as a youth, it's so much to do. And when we celebrate June 16th, we're celebrating so much. Like, personally, ne, it's so difficult for me to look at the harsh realities of what actually happened during
Happened back
apartheid.
in the day.
Because I'm like, it's so. I don't know how people.
Yo,
It's such a lot happened.
such a lot happened.
So
yeah.
much we don't even know so much of what happened. We didn't get to live that experience, the trauma,
yes,
the
yes.
injustice,
And the way was just
discrimination.
paved for us. We're here because of that time.
Dude, and how the truth and reconciliation tribunal thing happened, and it's just like people got away
Oh my goodness, the
scot-free.
TRCA.
Like I'm just there like
How
something.
No, times were
something.
really, 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 really different.
And we're not
back then.
living in that same state anymore. We're growing. We're realizing these injustices and how some of them are still part of our communities.
Exactly.
How some of the things that were fought so hard to get rid of are such a norm in some societies, such a norm in some high schools where racism, homophobia,
Yeah.
transphobia, discrimination are just so there, so blatant. That time we have an entire constitution. We have people who fought for these rights. And we as a youth continue to make sure that our voices are heard.
Yeah. With how was it 1978 when the
No, I didn't do history in that. Bro.
Oh, okay. Now I'm bringing in dates, but you know how that youth, the uprising, how
1976.
six.
Yes. That's today. That's June 16, 1976, the Winter Uprising.
Oh, guys, one thing about me and dates.
That's why it's Youth Day.
Hey, no, Tyrone. Guys, not Tyrone. That's exactly Tyrone.
That's why it's Youth Day.
Wait, guys, can I just
And
take
the
off
cars
my
in there,
eyelashes
and the
quickly?
cars.
Because no, they are really bothering me now. They are really, really bothering me. Take 5 hours. No, Tyrone, can you see how long? I need this these. Like, it's been bothering me so much. Let me just put them here, ladies. You know how this lash life goes. Anyway, Tyrone, we were still saying. I don't know, very little guys, but yeah, with
You took your eyelashes off.
I don't even like
At least
guys
it
find it
wasn't
so
At
weird.
least you didn't like yo.
I know, Shem. One thing about this one, it will never come off.
gevaarlijk.
And even my friends know when we're out, after an hour or two, I take them off. Like it just becomes a lot.
Really?
It's just for pictures, looking cute. Yeah, now but
I'm so dead.
I did. So yeah,
Yeah, you were saying 1978, 1976. Youth Day.
I wish today's youth had that.
I think we do.
We do, ne?
I
don't
personally
know.
think we do. I wish we were actually taught history in its reality.
Mm,
And it wasn't so
I don't know. Should I say?
censored. I just wish it wasn't so. I wish it didn't hide so much from us.
That's the thing.
Like I understand it can brew a lot of anger and a lot of hatred, but it's better for us to know what happened.
Yes.
What our
Fully.
people
What
did.
we- what-
like we need to know how. As a white person, we need to we know what white people did and how disgusting it was. But there's so much more
So
to it.
much more.
And we need to know these things so that we can. Like a lot of people say, you have to learn from the past.
Yes.
And it's very difficult for you to learn from a history that's been tailored.
Yes. I've always said I wish that history was a compulsory subject in high school. You know
it's so important.
how allo is compulsory. I wish history could take that place because it is so important to know where we come from.
Especially us as a country, we're so
Especially-
young in our democracy.
You know,
27, 28 years, it's not a huge feat. Like
At
it
all.
takes a long time to grow in a democracy, and we have so much more to do, and there's still so much more for us to
so much out there. You know, with that being compulsory, knowing where we come from, knowing what we've been through, and carrying it on our shoulders as we
and
move
carrying
on with
it
life.
with the knowledge,
With the knowledge,
the
you
pride
know,
of knowing. But people
it's so
fought.
important.
People fought for what we have today.
People really don't know that.
The ability to sit with a person of color and just have a conversation.
That was never normal.
That was so not normal for
This
some of our,
was
for
never
our
normal.
parents.
Hey, for our parents.
For our parents, this was not normal.
Not normal. And yeah, they've really been through it all. But I think, to wrap it up, okay, guys, wait, we'll cut it. Okay, let's just talk about with our parents, and then I think we should.
Okay.
You'll edit it, fine. Is it fine? Okay.
So, like as I was saying, it's so not normal, and it's just like I don't even know how to imagine what our parents went through
at the time,
and how our parents,
our grandparents,
Ooh, like grandparents, that's a totally
our
different story.
grandparents.
It's a totally different story, and it just, I have to say, it just really inspires me to work hard and to make sure that as a youth we create something to look back on. Yeah, well, like as a youth, we look back and we can say that this is the generation that fought for free education. This is the generation that fought for safety in a time of gender-based violence. This is the generation that fought for peace.
We need to have a name. Yeah, for peace, for just for all the great lights, the positive lights that
We try so much. I feel like South Africa tries so hard to push this idea of a rainbow nation. And
Yeah.
to push it that there are no
Hi Tina, we have made it.
diverse and all those things.
Yeah.
And we never, like, we're a generation that's so woke that what? And then,
Yeah, like
Oh,
I'm just
that's-
agreeing, Khore. I don't even think we're aware of that. I don't even think
we
that
have so much
know
access to so
much
many
potential.
things. Yeah, and I just wish we would be that generation that helps and that like we just make sure that somehow in whichever field you're in whatever way you wanna make it, entertainment, academic, stay at home mom, whatever you wanna be, like we make a way to make it possible so that our children
Yes.
have the
Have a-
next battle to fight.
to fight.
Whether
Yeah.
that be global warming, whether that be systematic racism, whatever the incoming battle
What will be
or war
Yeah.
is, that we make a way that they're not still fighting what
we are fighting
today.
Very, and I think that's a very important closing statement for it. May our kids, have a different fight from what we're fighting for.
Yeah,
Because guys, we
hey guys,
we can't be fighting
we can't be fighting the same thing. Over.
in the next 10 years, in the next 15 years.
Dude, thank you so much
Thank you guys so
for
much
being with us today. We'll catch you same time, same place. Or it won't be the same place.
Yeah, and not in the same place, but in a few weeks, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your time. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe.
Let's talk. Signing out.
Started from a bottom, mind switching sides. Silence, I go to the day I die. Started from a bottom, mind switching sides. Silence, I go to the day I die. Yeah. I don't want them in my circle.